Hello and welcome to another episode of Podcast Beyond.
Beyond!
This is episode 24, so we try to get Jack Bauer, but he's not here.
He doesn't have time.
I am your host, Chris Roper, editor-in-chief of the IGN PlayStation team, recently returned from an outing.
Baby.
An outing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congrats.
Here, as per usual, we have Greg Miller.
The whole family's back together.
Whole family's here. Jeff Haynes is here.
Oh, snap, son.
And Ryan Clements is present.
Happy again.
Yes, we can. How's everybody doing today?
Very good.
Good.
I'm excellent.
Good.
Release season is over.
Woo!
It is done. Thank God I missed the end of it. I'm very happy about that one. My shoe's untied. While I tie my shoe, Jeff has a public service announcement to make.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to personally put an end to the Penny Arcade IGN beef. Now, obviously, if you've been listening to the show, you know that this was started essentially 2 weeks ago on our show. Basically because of the whole rant tied up with Assassin's Creed and a large amount of the bluster that was regarding, the review that we happen to have on our site and our stance on the game across multiple systems, PS3, 360, as well as just the community response to the entire thing. And, while I disagree with the comments that Gabe happened to have on his blog towards, reviewers or towards some of the opinions that were put forward in the review. I can understand what his concerns and his opinions were on just like the entire setup with the game itself. And, they're just as valid as anybody else's in the industry. Like whether he happens to work for Penny Arcade or he happens to work for us or anybody else, it really wouldn't matter. There really is no need for any personal attacks like on each other, either from my side or from his side or from Tycho's side. Doesn't personally matter, and there's no reason to even like escalate the entire thing into a larger issue. Both of our sites are engaged for basically the same purpose, which is to inform and to entertain people, regardless of how we wind up doing it, whether it happens to be podcasts or blogs or video features or charities or comic strips. All of it's basically vital to the industry's success, and so pretty much I'm putting an end to the beef right there. Making the apology like that. That was just one of those isolated incidents, and we're just moving on with the podcast.
That was very nice.
Very good then. Let's go on. It's time for Greg. You want to announce the? It sounds stupid when I do it.
It's time for everybody's favorite news segment, the Roper Report.
Good. It sounds dumb when I say my own name.
How do you think I felt saying Roper Report for 2 weeks without you here?
No, see, that's pretty awesome. Okay. So we're at the end of release season, so there pretty much wasn't really a whole lot new that's happening anymore. But there are some pretty good things. Good news for one is UT3 is Unreal Tournament 3 is in fact still coming out this year
in limited quantity.
Limited quantity. So get your pre-orders in or stand in line.
How limited do you think they're going to be?
I don't think they're going to be limited.
Or wasn't Rock Band supposed to be limited?
Who knows? You know what it is. It's just it's the warehouse manufacturing time. They're like, okay, the game's done. Let's get it out as soon as possible. So instead of having 2 weeks to make them, they have a week or whatever.
And a lot of those people are probably going off on holiday also because of the heavy, busy release season.
If you pre-order the game, you'll be fine. And if you it'll be cool. But anyway, it comes out on December 10th, so it comes out next week. Woo! So that's all very, very good. Let's see. The PSP got firmware update 3.73.
Booyah!
Somebody care?
I had to download it, so
I know, yeah. Along with the PSP, Sony announced that a new battery is coming for the system. Sometime in mid-December, you can plop down $45 to get this 2200 milliamp or milliwatt, whatever it is.
Milliamp, yeah. MAV,
something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're not electricians, folks. All right.
Anyway, $45 will double the battery life for your PSP is just what we're saying.
Now, the catch to it is that they had already released this battery, right, in a souped-up form for the old PSP. But if you try to put in your new PSP, it would hang out the back because your PSP is small now. So now this one comes with the battery.
That's because the old one had back.
Bigger thingamajig. Oh, yeah. A lot of junk.
Some people like it. That. I'm just saying.
But it comes with the little two-color.
You get two kind of battery doors for you.
Yeah, so if you got a white one or a black one, then you're good.
Now, we're all going to have to put on our thinking caps here because I just thought of this and I'm not sure. When I'm looking at the back of a PSP Slim, like, whatever, the battery is on the left side? Or right side?
I believe it's on the right side because the old ones were on the left.
Okay.
What's the problem here?
My thinking would be that on the Star Wars one, obviously, Darth Vader is over on the left. So if you bought this one, you could get rid of Darth Vader and put that cover on there, but you can't because it's a different side,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Oh well. But
You
that
don't like
comes.
Darth Vader?
I like it fine, but I'd like, just a straight up white system.
Straight up.
Yeah, you just paint it beyond. So that's out in mid-December, and then also coming in mid-December is the first, another download pack for Warhawk. Gives you some extra content there. $7.99 will get you Omega Dawn.
Omega Dawn.
Jeff, what's in there?
The biggest thing is going to be a brand new carrier or the battle cruiser, I believe that they're calling it. It's supposed to be a massive platform that orbits in the air, and there's even going to be like kind of a conquest mode or kind of a soldier versus massive platform where the entire section is to take down the quote-unquote boss of the level by using concerted efforts to weaken that ship and eventually bring it down. They're also adding in a brand new multiplayer arena, which I believe is supposed to be an industrial fortress kind of level. It's going to take place
or
at night
dawn.
and or right before light comes.
Dark.
And they haven't really released that many images about it, but it's supposed to be a lot somewhat larger than some of the other ones, but really, really interesting. A lot of hiding holes, nooks and crannies, and a lot of places for turrets to spawn from.
And this update changes the existing, some of the existing levels already to make it more adaptable for the huge
it does. It makes it a
dropship.
lot easier for this dropship to actually be used, especially because the way that it's balanced right now, that thing would just own everything that it came across. So they're obviously adding in a lot more turrets, a lot more spawn points, so that you have an option and even an opportunity to take people out with that. How exactly they're going to decide to release it, whether it's like, you have to own so many checkpoints on the map before it spawns and then all of your people can run there and take over the dropship is still unknown at this point, though.
How excited about it are you?
Pretty psyched. I mean, it's definitely one of those things that's going to change the way that the game goes. It'll be really interesting, especially in dogfight missions, to have like full aerial where there is absolutely no ground combat available. And I don't know, maybe the leader all of a sudden has the ability of taking over at least one section of a dropship, and then it becomes like,
I can't wait to see how much damage you can take. Like, I mean, right now Warhawk's so fast paced, and I mean, when Dylan was in here, he was talking about, you're going to die all the time. That's how we want to do it. If you're in this huge protected ship with these giant turrets, you can fire out at people.
So it has turrets, right?
Yeah, it does. This is one of the things that we've actually known for a while, that they were working on dropships, but we didn't exactly know what they were going to do with it. And part of it, as far as I've heard, has been that it has multiple hard points. So each dropship will have multiple turrets. Each one will be able to take their own independent damage. And the reason why it is basically one side against this mega boss is that you have to concentrate your efforts on weakening the thing before you can actually destroy it, because it has so much health. So they're obviously going to do some kind of balancing, which they're in the middle of testing right now, to make sure that the load balance is at least playable and enjoyable.
There you go. So there's your podcast preview on the Warhawk update. So that's the end of the news, though. Yeah, not a whole lot of stuff, but some good news. UT3 coming out this year on PS3 is pretty good. So that game gives a whole lot of fun. Today's topic. Or actually, no. When are we doing the release thing?
We usually do it
that crazy
beforehand,
list. Yeah, so let's do it now.
The official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by IGN editors. Thank you, Ryan. On the PlayStation 2,
You still remember that?
week, Alvin and the Chipmunks. It's going to be Jeff's responsibility. He's excited.
Oh, yeah.
Chaos Wars will be taken by Sam Bishop, our own in-house freelancer. Golden Compass, Ryan will be handling. He will also be handling Golden Compass on PS3. It is the only PS3 release this week. He will also be handling Golden Compass on the PSP.
Whoa!
Which joins Beowulf and Atari Classics Evolved as our PSP.
I am
release.
Beowulf.
Ryan will do that whenever you want, if you want to call him. We're at the office.
Wait, what?
I am Beowulf.
That's right. I'm here all week.
There we go.
Did anybody see that
Along with
movie?
the theme
Is that
song.
movie any good?
Damon is the only person I know who's seen it, and he liked it, but everybody else is
Really?
warm on it. Yeah.
He liked it,
Yeah,
right?
he said it was like he said it's just an action movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't expecting poetry.
Well, there
But that's what it was.
You know what
I know.
It was poetry.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Now it's topic of the week.
Now it's topic of the week. So, what is happening
That's
here?
a new one.
He
We
just
introduced
started
while you were
adding
gone.
this in.
We got a toe. We got a
See,
toe.
this is what happens. You go off for a couple of weeks,
Toe. Topic
Okay.
of the week.
you get new theme songs and all these other fills.
Very good.
I had a lot of show to fill while you guys were gone.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Lots. All right.
It's insanity.
So today, Greg has put together a nice little list of games coming out in the spring.
We're looking forward.
We're looking forward, basically. Holiday release season is basically over. We still got a couple games left, but pretty much everything is already out. But there's a whole lot of big games coming out over the next couple months. Some stuff got pushed back. Some stuff is just basically coming out so that January, February, March, which is usually kind of a lull for releases, is going to be pretty huge. Just going down the list, we got games like Metal Gear Solid, Star Wars Force Unleashed, Brothers in Arms, Dark Sector, Turok, Battlefield Bad Company, SOCOM, GTA 4, Army of Two, SingStar, Frontlines, Home, The Club, Mercenaries 2, Burnout Paradise.
Isn't Little Big Planet in there somewhere?
Little Big Planet should be somewhere.
For some reason, but it's around there.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's tons of games coming out there.
Bigger than Christmas, you think,
Yeah.
Jeff?
Probably. I think this is the extended Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas.
I mean,
Thank you.
call it a happy Kwanzaa or something. I don't
There you
know.
go.
I mean, it's just
Groundhog Day.
still going to keep rolling.
Festivus.
Oh,
Yeah,
Festivus
there you
for
go.
the rest of us.
Yeah.
Feats
I
of
liked your
strength.
little inside thing. I liked your tech message.
Thank you.
The whole team will be back together. It's a Festivus miracle.
Yep.
That was
That's
good.
what we should call this one. Ryan, when you post this, that's the
The
subject.
return of
Festivus
Festivus.
miracle.
Festivus
It's a
miracle.
Festivus miracle.
It's going to be done.
Hey, there goes our big boss.
Yeah, there he goes. Let's. Greg, what are you looking forward to most out of this list? Or,
You know,
or if you missed anything.
obviously-
You made the list. Hopefully, you didn't miss anything.
Hopefully not. Well, yeah. But Metal Gear Solid, obviously. Little Big Planet, obviously. But the one that caught me that I didn't realize was coming up so quick, Star Wars Force Unleashed. I'm very excited. It seems like it'll be cool. I mean, it's hard to tell Star Wars. You never know what you're going to get. But, I mean, it definitely looks really cool from the clips we've been able to see and hear them talk about it at LucasArts. They're all really pumped about it. And, I mean, being Darth Vader's apprentice and throwing stuff around and doing force powers, like, what's not to like?
I'll tell you a little crazy inside thing. The dude that married myself, my wife,
Yes.
is working on that game.
No way, right?
There he is.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game too. But
Does he sound like it's good, or does he say it's crap?
I haven't talked to him about it.
Well, you try to work that into the vows.
Yeah, no, not really. Ryan,
Yo.
what do you got on here? What are you looking forward to?
Actually, a reader asks what we're looking for later, so I wrote down some stuff. But the one on the list is Little Big Planet.
There you go.
It's still my number one most anticipated game.
Sing the song, Ryan. He was doing this morning. I didn't know why, but now I do.
Meow, 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 meow.
He's breaking it down in the second verse.
All right, but besides Little Big Planet, what are you looking forward to on here?
Also, MGS4, even though I still need to beat the other games, Devil May Cry 4, Burnout Paradise, Killzone 2. These are all just
So
expanded.
you're basically just reading the
2008.
list again.
I wrote
Pretty
this
much.
down. I
All
did
right.
research.
Fair enough.
Who's excited about Battlefield Bad Company?
I am. I mean,
Come on, that game looks awesome.
Yeah, the
Blowing
destructible
crap up.
environment stuff should be pretty
Definitely.
Totally.
I mean, it's one of those things that not a lot of people have paid a lot of attention to because it's just been there and then
I know.
disappeared and then
It's been
comes
real
back.
interesting. Do you think it's going to make spring window? That's what it's slotted as. I have
maybe.
distinct doubts that it will.
Maybe.
No offense
I
to
mean,
the guys making
like
it.
it seemed like it's been pushed back like every now and then for some other reason. So
And we haven't had-
I'm not entirely sure.
There hasn't really
There
been
hasn't been-
hands-on time with it,
Exactly,
right? I mean,
so
I've
that's-
only seen it in, hey, we're going to demo it and show you, and we're going to bring. I mean, that's fine, and it looks really cool, but I haven't seen a lot of people playing
Well,
it.
like
yet.
I've seen that, and then like every now and then a trailer will come out, and that's pretty
True,
much it.
yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's like you think it might come out, but you're not entirely sure whether or not it's actually going to make the typical window that they've set up for this one.
Fun side note: I went to one of these hands-on with the developers while I was in Germany, and they had these little stress ball grenades, and they wouldn't let me take that on the plane for some crazy reason. I forgot it was in my bag, and then we were going through security. I'm like,
Whoops.
oh yeah, and I have this grenade thing. I'm like, it's a squeezy, and she's like, yeah, you can't bring it on
Yeah,
the plane.
no
Like, come on,
It's a squeeze.
no one's gonna take this serious.
panic,
You should just mail it to yourself.
Yeah,
That
well,
would-
I was
that
already
would've
at
been fun too.
security
Post
check
office
one.
would have been
Yeah.
like, oh.
busted.
Jeff,
What
do you got?
There's a ton of them on that list. I mean, obviously, a lot of the multi-console ones are ones that were originally PS3 games that are now multi-console, are ones that I'm looking forward to. But some of the ones are ones that were pushed back. I mean, Mercs 2,
Yeah.
Army of Two.
Lots of twos.
Brothers in Arms, like those are ones that I was really looking forward to, especially because they were supposed to be out a few weeks ago, actually. I mean, like, Army of Two and Brothers in Arms were supposed to be out, I think, the 17th of November, and they got pushed back to spring. Now, obviously, some of that is just like polishing things or minor tweaks or last-minute adjustments, but those two games looked really good up to this point, so it was kind of really surprising that they decided to push them back into spring. So I'm hoping that there isn't going to be a slip and it winds up getting pushed back again. I don't think that they will, because they were pretty much done like a few months ago. But those should be really, really good games.
So you're looking forward to the war games, basically?
Pretty much, because I am a warlike person. I am a warlike person.
I'm looking forward to Mercenaries too, but my big two on here are GTA 4. I'm a huge GTA fan, and 4, every time I've seen the game, looks freaking awesome, and Burnout.
Let's talk about Burnout.
Let us talk about Burnout.
Everyone knows Chris Roper loves cars and car racing games. I myself do not like driving real cars, let alone game cars. However, I am excited about Burnout Paradise. It looks like a ton of fun. I mean,
agree.
it just looks like, you race down every street, or you can do these crazy stunts. Best PS3 online interface we've seen so far, I think. It's just dropping in, dropping out with the D-pad. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's super easy.
Super impressive.
And the camera stuff where, like, you, if you take somebody out, it'll take a snapshot of their face and send it to you.
That is awesome.
Some very, very inventive uses of
Greg's
things
really
like that.
I'm really excited,
this.
and that's really weird for
Folks,
me.
he is genuinely
This is
excited
like someone
about
putting
this.
out an exercise game and me being excited for it.
But that actually seems like it's a little bit more creative than a lot of the other games that we've seen, because it's usually just like, okay, here's a friends list. Okay, just invite somebody else. Okay, whatever. And that's actually one of those things that's pushing some sense of community. I mean, aside from the fact of just going like, we just be-owned you with this crash, I mean, then you get like a snapshot if you have an eye going like,
That's
watching
really cool.
somebody getting punked or punking somebody into the camera.
You can save those, right? Did I hear that?
I don't remember if you can save them or not.
I don't
It
know
seems
if
like
you
you should be
can.
able to,
Yeah.
but
It seems like you'll
Have
be
they?
able to.
Someone tell me. Have they started to integrate your PlayStation Network friends list into games that are online? Like, is it synonymous? Is it the same thing, or is it still like you have to have a separate friends list for a game that you're playing online as opposed to your PlayStation?
I don't know how it works in Burnout yet.
Yeah, I think overall, they're starting to integrate it.
They're
for sure.
starting to?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
I
but
don't
it
know
hasn't
how-
been fully done yet.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, all that stuff to drop in and out, online play and all that sort of makes sense, because you see that all these consoles are, you basically turn them on and you have all these other features, internet browsing and messaging and friends lists and sort of things like this, and then, and you can't do this on the PS3 yet, or maybe ever, but at least in the case of the 360, when you're in a game, you can go and look and see who's online. So it only makes sense for it to sort of, for that single player offline and online stuff to start blending together. In the case of Burnout, it's like you're playing single player and you're like, oh, I want to get online. Press the D-pad and all of a sudden you're playing somebody online. There's no menu to jump to or whatever. You just kind of pop in there. And so, it's kind of to me, it seems like the evolution of where things are going. I've wanted to see this sort of thing in the Tony Hawk games forever. You figure you're skating around the world.
Well, that would totally make sense.
Yeah, and then you just basically, you're playing your single-player game, except other people are in there with you as well. And, they can show you how to get to goals or whatever. It'd be perfect for a game like Skate or, any of these other just open-world games where you just go around and explore and, do whatever you want on your own, and then other people happen to be there.
Totally.
That sort of happened with Test Drive Unlimited. I guess it did happen. But, that wasn't, the most popular game in the world, but still. It was a really good approach to it.
Yeah.
But
So that's really blending like the MMORPG sort of format where you can do everything by yourself, but technically you have all these other people that you can interact with like on the sidelines.
Right.
And that's kind of integrating into games that are usually single player.
Looking at this list here, this almost looks more packed than the season that we just went through.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with a lot of stuff
this is
in
all,
track.
with asterisks, are these things actually going to hit when they say they're going to?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's always a huge deal.
But you know what I think part of the plus is, though, is that a lot of the ones that we have here, we already know, like, they've been established like that for a long time. So barring a massive, like, disaster, like, most, if not all of these games are going to hit in spring, which means our springtime is going to be insane. It's going to be awesome, but it's going to be insane.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the release list of what people were looking forward to this holiday and then coming out in the spring, it's the spring or late holiday season or whatever you want to call this looks to be much stronger on the PS3 side. The 360 had games like BioShock and Mass Effect and Halo 3 and whatnot, but the PS3 basically had Uncharted, had Ratchet and Clank.
Warhawk.
Had a couple other games like
that.
that. But I mean, if you compare those releases, which there were some very strong ones in there, all the games we just mentioned, and compare them to releases like MGS4, GTA 4,
Little Big Planet,
Mercenaries, Burnout, SOCOM. I mean, it's a huge list of releases. I mean, it's kind of crazy how packed it is.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Yeah, I mean, at least for 4 months, like, we're just going to be rolling in AAAs. And
You figure this is a list that's more encompassing for everyone, whereas when 360 had it this last year, which was huge for it, it was like, what do you want to play? Well, there's Halo, there's BioShock, there's all these first-person shooters. I mean, those were geared to a specific thing.
Right, but I think the other part of it, too, is that, like, even if you look at this list, you're also getting into some of those things that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks, where a lot of those tech issues that we've constantly been bemoaning on the PS3, not really going to be there. I mean,
Yeah.
DMC4 on PS3 looks just like 360, and the fact that they've been doing so much work on the PS3 version before they even migrated it over to the 360 is one of those things that if you put them side by side, you really can't tell the difference as far as visual quality. They look the same. A lot of the other games that are coming out that happen to be multi-console, they're looking exactly the same, which is really, really cool, because then after a while, we don't even have to get into the whole argument back and forth over, well, yeah, the frame rate sucks on this one, or all of a sudden we've got these hitches or whatever. Like, it's going to be squashed possibly with this spring because all these titles are that solid.
And it also, Burnout's lead platform too, isn't it? PS3.
Yeah.
And beyond that, you figure it's one of those things where where you can, it tosses water on everybody's argument that it's harder to develop for it. But you look at Uncharted now, you look at Metal Gear, you look at Little Big Planet. It's like, if people can do this, just shut up and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's huge. That's huge for the team.
Well, part of it's just that whole rushing out and trying to get it for the bottom line of a company.
True.
But like that, a large amount of that's just being like squashed. And there are even some on that list that or some that weren't even on that list. Like I know NFL Tour, the redone NFL Street is supposed to be coming out in, I believe, January. I have no idea whether or not Infamous is still like floating around there as a possibility for spring. I know that was a rumor, but I seriously doubt it.
Yeah.
I know Echo Chrome is supposed to be in spring. Like there's some things that are coming that it's going to be a completely different take on exactly what we've seen, but it really is going to start using the power of the PS3 in a way that we're not seeing on other systems, which is really, really exciting. I mean, it's going to be one of those things that as hectic as this holiday season was, we're not going to get any more sleep for another couple of months, and it's going to be really sweet. Just get your coffee ready.
I don't drink coffee.
What do you drink?
Anything other than coffee?
Then get a Red Bull ready or something.
You drink pee?
Wow.
Because there are people that every morning get up and drink a glass of pee because they think that it makes them. Yeah. You can find this on the internet. Anything's on the internet.
You can find almost anything on the internet.
I'm not saying there's videos, whatever this, but you can find articles talk about it. People believe that drinking their own urine, or I think it's their own, not somebody else's, makes them stronger. So Ryan, if you don't want to drink coffee, maybe you can go that route.
Oh my God.
I don't know. That seems pretty sketchy.
I mean, well, which would you rather do? Would you rather drink your own urine or eat somebody else's brain that you've killed, like they did back in the day?
Oh my God.
This has gone off topic.
While we're here, though, what does everybody think Siler does when he cuts off somebody's head in Heroes?
I don't watch Heroes.
I don't think he eats it, does he?
I didn't think so, but he's a clock guy, so is he just looking at it and he figures out what's different and then he changes it in his head?
I thought he absorbed it.
Interesting. I don't know. I've never figured it out.
Well, from pee and brains to Heroes.
All right, I think that's the end of our topic. Then
I think so.
Let's move on.
That's the end of topic of the week.
That's the end of topic of the week. Jesus, what the fuck is going on here? This place is crazy. So it's time for, unless there's something else. Am I missing something else? I've been gone. I'm out of the loop.
I don't know.
I'm tired.
You might want to go back though, after this. This is insanity.
Yeah. All right. Let's go into some reader mail.
Mail call.
Reader mail.
Male, female.
Right.
Oh my God.
Jesus. All right. Let's butcher some usernames here. Sean9986 wants to know. We're talking about the big titles for the PS3. One of them is Little Big Planet. Do you think it's different and interesting? Or he says it's different and interesting. But how do we think that fans will respond to it? And do we think it'll be a big seller?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's going to come out. It's going to be critical. Well, I mean, this is just based on what we see, so whatever. But I think it will come out and be a critical acclaim. I think everybody's going to talk it up about being awesome, and then kids are going to get their hands on it and start making their levels, and it'll just explode.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually heard anybody around the industry that's actually had something negative to say about it. I think they've said that they don't necessarily know what it is or what it's going to be, but they're all intrigued by it, at least the concept of it, and then the fact that it's basically built around community itself. So I really can't see that not selling.
When they first showed it at the GDC, I was like, it was that thing, and he's talking about it. I'm like, all right, this seems cool. And then they're like, they did that whole pullback where like, and you'll create levels and put them up here. I was like, oh my, it just exploded.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wait. Very good. Okay, so we think it's gonna do well.
It's going to do well.
Yeah, very good. Pseudo Prime 1979 wants to know what is the one game that we played this year that we wished had been delayed until 08, so that it had more time to cook in the proverbial oven.
Black Side Area 51.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That game had a whole lot of potential.
Yep.
And from what Harvey Smith was saying,
Poor Harvey.
who no longer works at Midway.
He had an interview with Wired where he was very frank and very off the cuff and said we were rushed on this. We only had a week to work out certain bugs and so on and so forth. And he's like, I knew it wasn't going to do well. I mean, he was very frank and up, and he took he took blame for it. He's like, we take blame for it as a company, blah blah blah. And then Midway let him go shortly thereafter that interview went live. But yeah, I mean, that's something you don't see enough people do. I don't think there's enough personal responsibility in this. A lot of people, they put out a bad game and then they try to turn it around like, well, that reviewer didn't get it. They don't know how to fly a dragon.
hey, come on now. You know that project was haunted from the start.
It was haunted from the start. That's true.
Let's see. Weezta wants to know if we're ever going to see GT4 on the PSP. It's the main reason he bought a system at launch, and now he's pissed that it's not there. He's a sad panda, according to his email.
Did you really say sad panda?
Yeah, he says, now I'm a sad panda. My take on this is that Polyphony moved all of their development strength, whatever you want to call it, over to GT5. GT5 on the PS3 is a much more important game than GT4 Mobile or whatever you want to call it on the PSP. And Sony needed to get it done and, whatever. So they moved all of their guys over there. I think if we ever do, I think we will eventually see a Gran Turismo on the PSP, and I think it's going to be based on 5. GT4 doesn't make any sense anymore. They might as well make it 5 and have all the cars or whatever in there, even though clearly the game's not going to look the same.
Yeah, but don't you think it would be really cool if it was just one of those things where GT5 Mobile, if that's what it would be essentially you take your career, you take maybe 1 or 2 tracks, you do it wherever you want to be, and then you just re-upload it. When you sync it back.
I mean that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's going to be based on 5 and not 4. I think GT4 on the PSP is essentially dead, and they're just going to move all the tech over to 5. The engine will still be the same, but all the content and layout and the things that work, I think, will be 5. Assuming this ever happens, but I think they're going to do it. Not until GT5 ships, though.
I hope it's GT5 Epilogue.
Yeah,
you just pound out dents in your car.
Yep, that'd be pretty rad. Except there's no damage to the game.
Resell them.
Clintar wants to know which Transformers movie did you like more? The original cartoon animated movie, and nobody else gets a comment because that's the fact. The fan says, with Devil May Cry 4 releasing in just a few months, do you think the switch to Nero is refreshing, or would you rather have had Dante back again?
Nero and Dante are both in the game. I mean, it's not like you can only play one or the other. Actually, you play as both. You go back and forth. Nero's story ends, and then Dante's story basically begins. So.
So we wonder how much of a fan the fan is.
Exactly.
There we go. That's what we learned from that. There's a whole lot of pages here I didn't highlight anything from. Spit Kicker would like to know, Ryan, this is for you. Mm-hmm. How many fibers are intertwined in a shredded wheat biscuit?
Many.
Give me a number here.
400.
400. That's a pretty good guess. I'm gonna go more like 550 to 600 range.
I was going to say 4,000. I was like, wait, shredded wheat. Not that much.
I'll go 561.
561. You're playing the price right.
$1 of shredded wheat.
John GPR wants to know which download service do we think has the better games, the PlayStation Network or Xbox Live Arcade? And I'll throw in, he didn't mention this, but what about the Virtual Console?
Oh.
Ooh, tough one.
I think for original content, PSN. Calling all cars.
Really?
Yeah, calling all cars, Flow. I mean, there's more crazy new stuff going on there than anywhere else. Superstars
It's
HD.
original, but
Yeah, Pain.
XBLA has so much more,
They
and
have
a lot
more,
of them are really
way more content.
But a lot of them are also really good too. I will say that still my all-time favorite, Super Stardust.
Yeah.
But so that weighs in very heavily on the PSN side of things, but.
I think, just for original stuff that you can,
With the Virtual Console, it is just really nice. I know we've talked about that before, but I don't have my Nintendo anymore or anything, so it's nice to have access to those games still. But
Yeah, it's definitely nice to throw out a flood of things, especially if you happen to be interested in nostalgia or you just want to see sometimes where some of the series or characters from series have come from. I think that I have to agree with both of you on that one too. I mean, like XBLA has a ton more content. Whether or not they happen to be blatant knockoffs or things that you would even wind up going back and playing over and over again, that one's a little bit debatable. I mean, there are a few more creative things that you're going to find on the PSN. Problem is there just aren't that many of them there, and that's one of the things that we just hope they would actually improve upon. But
I don't know. I'm going to be the outsider on this one. I gotta say my edge goes to Xbox Live. I mean, right now it's probably just because it's been out for it's got a year head start on it.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, with Geometry Wars, Puzzle Quest, I'm playing the hell out of still. I mean, there's tons of games that they have. It seems to me they have more genres on Xbox Live Arcade. Also, they have games like Catan and or Catan or however you pronounce that, and I mean, there's stuff from pretty much anything you want to play on there. What is that? Marble Blast Ultra. I had a lot of fun playing that game.
Switch Ball's really cool.
They got Paperboy. That's what sold me.
yeah, but I mean, like
Worms is on there. That's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Even though that is just pretty much an existing game. But,
but that's kind of the thing though, is that they're also taking like pre-existing games and either making them Xbox Live or making Xbox Live spins like Worms. Because I mean, Puzzle Quest, you can get Puzzle Quest like almost anywhere or whatever else. But I think the fact that they're also deciding now, even outside of stuff like Paperboy or Pac-Man, that they're going to do stuff like Psychonauts or whatever else, like that should be a huge impetus to like push Sony to go, okay, if you're going to release like Psychonauts and Crimson Skies and everything else, here's all these PS1 games, have fun, or here's all the things that we were planning to do with Japan, and we're going to boost all of those numbers back up so that North America and Europe have 170 games to download or something like that.
Yeah. Moving on, The Aggression he says, I have another question, even though
He sounds aggressive.
like the first question on here. WTF is up with Konami saying that MGS4 still needs to sell 1 million copies on day one for the company to benefit. Can you explain this foolishness? I never knew a game had to sell a certain amount at a given time for the company to benefit. If a game costs $10 million to make, and they make $10 per copy, I mean these numbers are wrong, then you need to sell 1 million copies to break even. Right?
Yeah.
10 or or actually more than that because of the cuts, some part of it goes to the store or whatever. So basically what Konami is saying is they've spent so much money creating the game and they get X number of dollars of each one they sell that they need to sell 1 million copies in order to make any money on it.
But on day one,
makes sense to
I think
me.
that's where the confusion comes from. Like, why would it need to be day one as opposed to just in the long run
I
or
think
within a month
the
or
amount
something?
of hype this game has been built up and what people have said about it and how it's a system seller and all this stuff that it's gotten to that point where Konami's saying, if we don't live up to that expectation right away, it's a lot like in the movie industry right now. You figure if you have a crappy opening, then you're screwed.
The movie's screwed. The other thing, too, is that depending upon when it's released, based on the financials and financial statements for a quarter, they could be banking a huge amount of their upcoming quarter or just justifying their bottom line on this is the number that we're selling. And because of Halo 3, everybody is now looking at Halo 3 and what Halo 3 did in one day as almost the justification for whatever they're doing expense-wise, which is a little bit sketchy, but that's just business. I mean, everybody's going to go like, we threw that much time in, that much money. If we're not getting anywhere near these kinds of results or even something that's relatively close, then it's going to be really hard for us to justify maybe making another one in that series. And some people aren't going to be like game industry focused. They're going to be economics focused. That's all they're going to care about.
Right.
Channing wants to know, with the PS3 and 360 both capable of accepting USB keyboards, why hasn't Activision, which is now Activision Blizzard, taking advantage of its Infocom property and released an anthology of text adventures. You'd love to see, you love to revisit the worlds of Planetfall, Station Fall, Lustful Moon is Phobos, the Great Underground Empire,
Oh my
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'll tell you why. It's because nobody these days wants to play a text-based adventure anymore. Nobody just wants to type stuff in. I think it would be pretty awesome if you had some of these old classics like Planetfall and they made a updated graphics version of it.
they
It could be like a point-and-click adventure, like an old LucasArts type game, and then stick that on like Xbox Live and PlayStation Network and stuff. I think that'd be awesome. But nobody is going to plug in a USB keyboard and type in,
And play Zork.
go N. Use sword or whatever. Nobody's gonna do that. Everybody wants graphics. That's what
Remember
the systems
Big?
are about.
Yeah.
When he plays that
Yeah.
wizard.
Exactly.
Use ice staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like,
Use ice staff.
But so that's the reason. I think some of those games have some really cool. There's a lot you could do with it if you updated the games. Some of the worlds and universes that they created for those were really cool. But they're not going to do it just as a text game.
bring back Oregon Trail.
Oh, yes.
It would be kind of, it actually would be kind of cool to release one of those on like some anniversary, like the 30th anniversary of Zork or whatever. I don't know how old Zork is, but
Just redo it.
just release it for free. It'd be kind of cool. But anyway, nobody's gonna make them, install them, whatever. And then finally, I've read this guy's thing before, and I don't understand it. GTA 3 AVC ASA. Whatever the hell that is, wants to know that now that UT3's release date has been moved up, do you guys know when the review is going up? The game is coming out next week, so our plan is to have it up right around the time of release, but with a game that is so intrinsically tied to its online play, we're not going to put it up before we can have proper online time with the game. So if that means that we need to wait until a couple of days after it's out so we can have played plenty of people online in the public or whatever, then, so be it. But next week sometime is when it should be up.
Yay.
So there you go. That's the end of this. There.
In the trash.
I
That's
missed it.
right.
I went behind the
reader
behind the wall.
questions.
There's the end of the reader questions. What else do we got for today's show?
What are you reviewing next?
What are we reviewing next?
I don't know. I'm going to be reviewing Atari Classics Evolved next for PSP. Ryan.
Very good.
I am currently working on, I'm supposed to be currently working on King of Fighters 11, even though we still haven't gotten copies of that, so I'll be working on that as soon as possible. And my upcoming review is all the Golden Compass games.
There you go.
Yes. Golden.
Jeff?
Well, I'm currently finishing up Blazing Angels 2, Secret Weapons of World War II, and then I guess I got to get my Chipmunk on.
There you go.
Alvin and
now
the Chipmunks.
we're talking.
Very good.
It's a hot
That has Ryan title written all over it. Why did you get it?
I don't know. I spun and I got a whammy or something. I don't know.
Rope, what are you doing?
I don't know. I just got back today. So right
Nice.
now I'm spending the rest of my day going through 10,000 emails and then mostly just hitting delete over and over again.
Well, then you know what that is then. Pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
I can almost give it to Alvin and the Chipmunks, but
Come on now.
out of the rest, I've played Atari Classics Evolved. It seems like a solid game. There's a lot there if you're looking for classics that have evolved beyond.
Bill?
Don't hold that to any review score though. Yeah. Because if I trash it in a couple days, sorry.
Anyway.
But I mean, it's up against a bunch of Golden Compasses and Chaos Wars, and we don't even see these games.
I know.
Beowulf.
I am Beowulf.
Thank you, Ryan.
Well, that went out with a whistle.
There you go. So this week's pick of the week is a winner then.
Probably.
Yeah.
If you need, if
we'll
you
see.
Pong.
Yeah.
Who loves Pong?
Has anyone
Everybody.
seen Craig Harris's shirt today?
Yes.
Anybody? Holy
Anybody
jeez.
else?
He has a light up shirt and it's Pong and it lights up.
Are you
Does it
serious?
work?
Yes, it works. I'm serious.
Wasn't he telling
Can
you
you
to
play
test
it?
Wi-Fi?
Well, there is a shirt where it has like just a small Wi-Fi detector.
Oh, but it's not him,
And,
the shirt?
and it's not him, and it's for novelty. It just detects and it displays like a little
Okay.
like wave signal on your shirt.
This shirt
crazy.
though is just Pong. And he walked by a while ago and turned it on for us.
Yeah, like when I was
And
talking.
does it play by itself or can you actually play it?
No,
No, it
it's
doesn't.
not playing.
It's
It's
just-
just
it's a picture.
It's a static. It's
Oh.
a static picture, but it lights up to make it look like the ball's being hit back and forth across.
Oh, I thought you said it was actually
Yeah,
playing.
like-
no, because
That'd be
that would be
awesome.
crazy.
Pong.
Yeah, that would be rad though.
Like my shirt.
you know
You
the
guys wanna play some Pong.
The crappy part about
Find the
that is, though,
joystick.
is like if you say you're standing in line at the movies and you're like, I want to play
It was
some
a
Pong, but
paddle.
you're wearing the shirt, you can't really play it on
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Right.
So you're like, I got to convince you to wear the Pong shirt to the movie, so when we're standing in line, I can play it.
Yeah.
And then you can
will be
just
the coolest
and then you can just
people in line
stand
at
there.
the movies.
I really would not want to know where the paddles go for that.
Ooh.
Well, that's the only way you can play Pong.
Wireless controllers.
Wireless paddles.
Here you go.
We'll
They're
get on.
shoes.
I think that's pretty much the end of the show for this week. Wouldn't you say so?
Yay.
From pee and brains to paddle and Pong.
You know what that means? It's time for the song.
Take it out with the song. As listeners know, the University of Missouri Tigers blew it. It's over.
Oh, Mizzou.
Number one in the country for 1 week, and then lost the Big 12 championship game to Oklahoma. Many of you think I might be crushed, but however, after years and years of NCAA football and the video games, I've been prepared and know the horrors of the Big 12 championship game, and have lost many national championships because of it. Still, to honor my alma mater, I will sing the Podcast Beyond version of the alma mater, which isn't too much different than the regular alma mater, except I say Beyond a couple times. Podcast Beyond, our favorite podcast, dear old weekly routine. Do-do-do-do-do. Ours are hearts that fondly love thee. Here's a health to thee. Bop, 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 bop. I'm just gonna skip. With thy watchwords, honor, duty, thy high fame shall last and last.
Wow.
Is that the end?
Yeah, like the two people who know the Missouri alma mater will be very impressed.
Huh. Very good.
Yep.
All right, we'll see everybody next week. Peace out.
Beyond.
Beyond.
Beyond podcast.